Guess what? If you refuse to grow, you're going to continue to suffer. Suffer mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, relationally, all the lees. If you refuse to grow. Well, what does grow even mean? What does it even mean to grow? What does it mean for a human to grow? We see plants grow, right? We see children grow, but when we're adults, I guess we stop thinking we're growing, or we stop thinking about growing because we maybe assign growth to, seeing the toddler through adolescence into adulthood, and yet growth is so much more than that. We're talking about spiritual growth, emotional growth, energetic growth. And the way that you grow as an adult is you open and embrace yourself to challenges, to the things that scare you, to the uncomfortable. It can be really reduced to something as simple as, are you willing to try something new? Are you willing to do things different? To think different, to show up different, to dress different, to act and behave differently. That's really what growth is all about. If you're stuck in your ways, then you're not growing. And the sad thing is that when you stop growing, guess what? You accelerate your mortality of death. You start dying even faster. And I believe there's a lot of people that are so frustrated in life, so stuck. You're stuck because 1, you're afraid, 2, you're overwhelmed, and 3, you probably just don't even know what to do. Because what? The system that we were raised in programmed us right from wrong. Being in school, it was always about measuring up, tests, getting wrong answers, and feeling overwhelmed. Like we always have to have the right answer for the right person. And in this game called life, the only right answer is a willingness to say, I want to grow today. I want to be better than who I was yesterday. Because in this world, it's me versus me. It's you versus you. You're not competing against nobody. That's a fallacy. It's really a failing system when you think about just public education and education in general, right? Having the grading system and comparisons and rankings. And so maybe in like sports, it's good. But when it just comes down to your daily, everyday life, you're not competing against me. I'm not competing against you. I believe that this universe is infinite abundance. For me to win, you don't have to lose. And for you to win, I don't have to lose. And the other beautiful thing is that you're a divine creation. Do you realize this? Can you wrap your head around the fact that you are divine? You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are spirit. And yet, you are entitled to some incredible things on this planet. Experiences, abundance, wealth, success, freedom. And these are all things, I guarantee it, happiness, joy, peace. These are all things that you have visualized in your mind, experienced maybe momentarily, but not long term. And yet, I don't want what's yours and you can't have what's mine. Have you ever heard that? I'm gonna say that one more time. I don't want what's yours and you can't have what's mine. We are all divinely given a measure of success and gifts and talents that we need to cultivate and share with the world. But if you're just sitting there settling That's what it boils down to, right? If you've settled in life, you gave up. I talk to the youth all the time. And when I'm saying youth, I'm usually referencing high school aged students. Most of them are IDK. I don't know when I ask them, what is your dream? If you're listening to this right now, what is your dream? What is your dream? What is the deepest desire of your heart? Like, what are those desires in your heart? This was some major breakthrough that I had along my healing journey, is when I was able to pause and to sit there with myself and have a conversation and to like silence all the noise, all the distractions, all the other people trying to tell me what they thought I could do or should do or need to do. And I just have stilled myself to a place where I can just sit there. I start every day with affirmations and journaling. And so I can remember fleshing out like my deepest desires, things that I can promise you, part of me is embarrassed to say some of the things. Part of me doesn't believe that I'm worthy of some of these things. Part of me is afraid that if I speak these things and then I don't, because I don't have a plan on how to manifest them and bring some of these big desires into my life, that somehow it's impossible and that it would never happen. It's a delusion. I'm delusional, is what my inner critic wants me to believe. That's what your inner critic wants you to believe, that your real deep desires are delusional. It's impossible. There's no way that that's ever gonna happen for you. You're not worthy of it. You're not good enough for it. There's already too many people doing it. Who do you think you are? Do any of those statements resonate with you? Because that's what you're hearing in your own mind. You can't do it. I'm here to tell you, you can. You are good enough. You are good enough to do it. You're good enough to do anything that you have in your heart and in your mind and that you're visualizing. Your dream. Your dream. Albeit, I'll tell you, if your dream as a little kid was to be, to win the World Series, to win at the highest level of sports, and you're now middle-aged, obese, unhealthy, probably would pass out running a 100-yard dash, like maybe that's not gonna be realistic, right? Maybe that's not a realistic goal. I know that was one of my dreams, was to be a professional athlete. And so you could even define that though. Maybe you're not gonna win at the highest level, but I think there's still opportunities for people of all ages to become professional athletes or successful athletically, even if you've let it go. But yet, what are you willing to do? How much willpower are you willing to put towards something? How much change? It really boils down to change, doing things different. We all know the definition of insanity, and if you keep doing the same things, thinking the same way, you have your result. Your result is right now. You have been consistently yourself. Think about it. You are consistent. What you have as you look around your life, as you look on the scale, as you look in the mirror, as you look into your environment, what is your house? What is your car? What does your bank account say? What is your job? You have created that. That is whatever is the totality of your consistency. And for you to be able to get more, which you're worthy of, I'm here to tell you, you're worthy of more. You're worthy of it. But we all want easy. We want it easy. We just want to, go to bed, wake up, and then have a dream life. When the dream is the journey. It's who do you become from where you are right now to where it is that you wish you could be. If you're broke, overweight, depressed, alone, and you want to be successful, healthy, and in the most incredible, healthy relationship of your life, the journey to go from the version of you now to to your highest version is the dream. And it takes you doing new things, thinking new ways, and being a different version. You have to start being that version of yourself. And it doesn't happen overnight. It comes in little bits and pieces. And I believe that you're given opportunities to show that you are capable of being and thinking, right? If the final version of yourself lives in an incredible home, you know, you look in your space now and you can visualize, what does that space look like? How does it feel living in your dream home? How does it feel? And it takes that visualization, connecting with your feelings and your thoughts. And then you have to start saying, well, what would it take for me to purchase such a home? Right? A certain amount of income. Well, what skills and gifts and talents do you have that could allow you to add value to the marketplace, to the world, that then would return to you the value that you could be buying your own, this dream home? Having this level of success. Is it starting a business? Is it going back to school, right? Finishing up something you left a long time ago that you need to pick back up? What is it? And I think that's probably the biggest thing that gets so many people wrecked, is that we don't like to change. We think it's impossible to do new things. We gave up on learning. Once we were done with the forced education that equaled nothing, I'm talking about kindergarten through high school, it equaled nothing. I talk to kids all the time. You could drop out and go get the worst job with the worst pay, the worst schedule, and also taking out the trash twice a day and cleaning the toilets as well. You can drop out and that's your job. When you finish with a high school diploma and you go to the boss, they're not going to give you the highest paying job with the best schedule. It's the same. It's the same outcome. And so many of the youth of today are waking up to this. And yet, I advocate for higher education. I've worked in higher education for almost 8 years now. And it's like, I believe there's something for everyone, but there's a lot of trades, there's a lot of technical skills that are necessary out there. Not everybody's got to be a nurse. But I do believe that in general, education is definitely an upward mobility in life. Higher education, because that's where you become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a nurse, a certified electrician. It's at the next level of education. And so maybe you need to go back. Maybe you need to just really start taking better care of yourself, and in you transforming your life from fat to fit, you can now become an inspiration for other people. And that inspiration is value because you can show people your process, your way. How did you do it? It's happening all over the world right now, where people are sharing their gifts and their talents and the things that they're most passionate with, versus sitting endlessly in a cubicle, being miserable, sad, and overworked and underpaid. Right? And education isn't going to make you rich. Having a college degree, getting a managerial job won't make you rich, but it definitely is like usually double the pay of what not having a degree is. Especially if you have some experience under your belt. That paper alone, definitely in modern society, it equals value. It adds more value. I learned this from the earliest days in the military. When I joined the military out of high school without education, right? One of the first things I learned is the people that showed up with college got paid more money, got better quality food, better living accommodations, and they got to be in charge of everybody. And I said, whoa, that piece of paper actually means something. And a lot of people discredit it. And I think a lot of that is just a fear and resistance of the forced education equaling nothing, that somehow the higher education is just as bad. And I don't agree with that in total. I think there are some things that are being taught that are irrelevant, but I think there's a lot to learn. That I know that by having not 1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 college degrees, a master's being the highest, none of that is gonna ever hurt me. Never. It will always add value to me. And it will do the same for you. But are you willing to try new things? Here's a story. My truck, my overland build, stalled out the other day. And, you know, I called the dealership to see if I could get it scheduled to have towed there. And it's literally like over 2 weeks out to get my truck even looked at. And I did some research online, figured out that it was the alternator that had gone out. Well, I'm pretty mechanically inclined. I don't mind working with my hands. I love construction. I don't mind hard work. But I'm certainly not an auto mechanic. But I watched some videos online. I was able to order a part magically. I feel like it was like a miracle. All this was a miracle. It got delivered. A brand new alternator got delivered next day. You know, I bought the tools that I needed, get there, and I replaced the alternator in my truck, turned it on, and everything was back to normal. It was the most incredible thing. And I didn't bang my head, and yet, you know, I'm so grateful for the person that put out the content that made a step-by-step video showing that. And here I am in a different topic, showing you and trying to inspire you a step-by-step process on how to turn your life around. This person gave me a step-by-step process on how to switch out my alternator, which is what really stores and generates the power of the vehicle. And it took me being courageous. It took me being brave. It took me doing something new. But that's the personality and the attitude that I show up with each and every day. Is I have a growth mindset. I'm willing to learn new things every single day. And I'm willing to try new things and do new things and look at things differently. Instead of having a fixed mindset where I think I got it all figured out. Is that where you're at? You got life figured out, but yet you're miserable. You're a pain avoidant person, because anytime that you have to be within your own body, you can't take it. So you turn to all kinds of things to numb your pain, because you can't just do life on life's terms. And the time for that the time to make a switch up for that is now. If you're hearing this message, right? This is a beautiful opportunity for you to start making some adjustments, making some switches, and getting out of your comfort zone. Being honest with yourself. Get a blank piece of paper and really get in a very quiet, undistracted space. Put on some 963 frequency affirmation type music, and ask yourself, what is your desires? What do you really want out of life? Because I can tell you, most people I know, myself included, when I was miserable, when I was suffering mentally and emotionally and spiritually and physically, I was depressed, I was eating my emotions, I was, using alcohol and THC around the clock to numb my pain, to keep me going, and that's just existing. But I know deep down in my heart that when I was at the worst of that, guess what? I knew that I had more potential and a greater purpose for my life. but I didn't know how to get it going. I couldn't figure out how to get unstuck. And a lot of it just had to do with the fact that I had a lot of trauma and emotional wounds that I needed to process and heal. I needed to repair the relationship with myself. I needed to start learning how to love myself. And I believe you could do the same. I think we all need to work on our relationship with ourself. What does that mean? Your inner self, your inner child. Start repairing that relationship with the little kid inside of you. It's there. The little boy, that little girl is inside of you. You need to give them a name. In my example, right? My birth name is Gregory. That's the little guy. That's Gregory. That's what my mom always, Gregory. That's the little guy. You're listening to Greg right now, which is Super Dad. The man that he never had, Gregory. And if you need some help with this, reach out. resultskillexcuses@gmail.com. I'd be happy to meet with you for a strategy session on how to really look at some of the struggles in your life and come up with some plan of action to move through some of that. If you're looking to do self-discovery, type in Results Kill Excuses into your app store, and boom, you're gonna have 25 free lessons packed into 5 specifically designed courses to help you do some reflection work. One of them is about problems. One of them's holding yourself back. The other one's about addiction and your relationship with different addictions, right? You also have a relationship makeover, which is really a great one for starting to reconnect with yourself, because I truly do believe that how you love yourself is how you're going to love others. And if you want to improve the relationships that you have with other people, guess what? It starts with you. The relationship you have with yourself, that inner critic. Are you really taking care of yourself? Or could you be doing more? This is your call. This is the call. This is the message you've been waiting for. It's here. It's now. Your time is now. Let's make it happen. Let's do this together. Be inspired. Believe in yourself. Know that you are worthy. You are good enough. I love you so much. And I thank you so much for being a part of this message. Share this message. Comment down below. Like it. Because you are not alone. I am not alone. And there are many, many millions of other people that this is the missing piece. We get so caught up on doing the shit on the external that we forget, and almost by design, we are totally ignorant that the biggest piece comes from the inside. It's the inside. You work on the inside, everything will manifest itself in the external. All those desires, all those dreams. But you gotta fix and repair some of the wounding, some of the false beliefs, some of the limiting beliefs that you have there. And I'm here to help you. Check out the coursework on the app. I would love to hear your feedback on that. I appreciate you tuning into this message. I'm gonna keep getting back on here because you know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it.